Hello, everybody, and welcome to the review of Jaws for Shark Week. And today we're reviewing the movie Jaws. Now, currently on the screen, this is Peter Benchley right here. In fact, this is the author of the original book Jaws. This is him doing a reporter thing. Now, he was involved in the film as well as other things, and it's quite an amazing book and so forth. I mean, just listen to this. I hope you can hear it.
But in recent days, a cloud has appeared on the horizon of this beautiful resort community. A cloud in the shape of a killer shark.
Yep, killer sharks, man. You gotta feel for it. This movie really did a lot of just incredible things. It was one of the blockbuster making movies. And yet, if you go back and read the book, it is so vastly different from the film. I'm just saying, it is. There was no denying that. And trust me, I've read the book. It is so different. Steven Spielberg is very good at doing that. He's very good at taking a film and transforming it into something completely different. And he's done this not only here with Jaws, as he actually had several actual script writers, but also had Benchley there as well. But it was just an incredible job. I mean, this film was constantly being worked on because of just how tough it is. But what should also be noticed, he's done this with a lot of other films. He's done this with Michael Crichton, with believe it or not, the two Jurassic Park movies, the first two. Unfortunately, Crichton died before 3 came out. And he also did it with Ernest Cline in Ready Player One. So he has a great history of working with the actual authors to adapt their work to a new format for film. And in Jaws' case, this was a hard film. This was a very tough film, and it just shows. Remember, you don't really want to shoot on water. Water is terrible. People will tell you, whatever you do, do not shoot on water. And, Spielberg should have listened to them a little bit, but I don't think the film would have been as successful if he had listened to them. And we see this when we look at the film, too. And this film has actually been covered a couple of times in Shark Week. The Mythbusters did a Mythbusters special on it. There's so much. There's, in fact, because of the Indianapolis sequence, which is by far one of the most effective sequences in this film. I mean, we're talking, it is literally one of the most impressive sequences when we get this particular, yeah, this is one of the best scenes you can see and stuff, and it's just, and this is, by the way, what we're about to hear, that is actually a line that Roy Scheider here actually improvised, and as we all know, it's become pretty famous and been reused a lot. And I think it's quite good at it, too. I mean, just listen. Yep, I'm with him. You're going to need a bigger boat, and you can't even see him on my video. I'm sorry about that, guys, but, this is just the recording method I have, and, I have to do a lot just to make sure it's not copyright claimed. So, we're not going to be getting a whole lot of footage and stuff. But I have to agree that this was still a good film. The Indianapolis was actually declassified, the whole event, right before this movie came out. That's why they were able to use the quote in the film. But I have to say is that everything about this film, from the chief's fear of the water, nearly drowning when he was younger, getting drunk, there are certain sequences I wish were in the theatrical cut that are not, that actually extended a few things. And, man, Spielberg really worked his butt off for this film. And I do agree, I'm actually surprised he did not get nominated for the Best Oscar. The movie just keeps building on itself. It keeps getting better and better, more impressive as time goes on. And remember, this is a film where these actors had to do everything in camera. There are no CG, no models, no stop motion. Everything was literally on the set. And if you have watched documentaries on this, you will hear Richard Dreyfuss literally saying, and all across the island you will hear, the shark is not working. The shark is not working. I repeat, the shark is not working. Yeah, I can see where that would be a problem. Because remember, this was because they shot in Martha's Vineyard. But here's the thing. That was a good idea because Martha Vineyard, you can go out 30 miles and it's pretty much a 20 to 30 feet difference from the ocean floor to the surface. This meant they could set their tracks up and they could have no land visible. They could really go out and do so. Now, they tested this in a pool, somebody's pool, to see if this stuff would work. I still laugh at this because, just think about this, guys. We're talking about a pool, fresh water, not that big of a deal, and then suddenly going to hard, aggressive salt water in the actual ocean, where even just going 10 feet down can be pretty serious. I mean, you can feel it. Going 10 feet down in the ocean is different than going 10 feet down in a Olympic-sized swimming pool. It's a big difference. And they eventually did get the shark to work, but they had to, because of the problems, find interesting ways to do things. And you know what? Those sequences, they actually went to an old classic rule in movies, which was, believe it or not, what you don't see is more terrifying. And we see that in the film. I mean, they really do, do that kind of stuff. And in fact, we're getting around to the sequence and stuff where they're talking about it. And again, I like to apologize for the quality of the video, but it does make sense. There's a lot, and it shows. It shows. And it just gives you an idea on what to expect.
Mary Ellen Moss.
And it does, too. There's a lot going on here. And this sequence is so impressive. I would love to show it, but I have a feeling I would get copyright flagged real quick if it goes on for too long. So I do want to hear him say this. Yeah, you hear how quick that laughing actually stops. You have to remember, this was a real shark attack. The ship was torpedoed. Their mission was so secret with the bomb, nobody knew. What is described here, some of it's been debunked, but it made for one hell of a story, and it told of Quint's backstory. What we don't know is that at one point, Quint's story here was going to be the sequel to Jaws. It actually was. This was not a joke. There was actual talk about doing it. And, we see how the crew reacts. And you also have to remember, this is one intelligent-ass shark. This is one intelligent shark. And it's about, I believe it's described as either being 20 to 25 feet in length. Well, here's a little scary thing. Some reports go that some great whites do actually get close to, or actually have reached 20 feet. 25, I'm not so sure about that one, but there have been some reports of up to 25-foot sharks. Here's the thing, though. General size is still about 15 feet for some of the largest. That's been confirmed. And to give you a fair hint, remember that you have two basketball players who are 7 feet. Normal between 13 to 14 feet sharks, that's the size of two basketball players, mixed in with serious amounts of muscle. And a 9-foot shark can kill a person. A 9-foot great white, I think even a 5-foot can really mess you up pretty bad too. But once you get past 8 feet and it's going to kill you, kiss your ass goodbye. This is, of course, what makes this film so different. And you have such great villain in this shark, this animal that's just doing what it wants to do. And so much stuff that happens. I think people tend to forget that. They tend to forget that this is a serious thing, that we have all this happening. And it does actually make the film very unique and interesting. And it does, too. It really, honest to God, does. And I have to say it. The film still stands up very well. You have the incredible score by John Williams. You have Steven Spielberg's direction, his attention to detail, and the fact that they had to adapt to what was going on the set. I mean, at one point, I think the Orca had a rig that came out, and the ship's almost sunk. They literally almost sunk the Orca on for real, not just the one they built to sink, but they almost sunk the Orca for real. And you have to realize is that unlike what was in the book, this is much more ominous. They were out here for 2 to 3 days, I believe, just hunting this shark. And the shark was in turn hunting them. It was an amazing thing, and I loved it. I mean, and it gives you this hint on just what we're dealing with here. And it made everything so good. And believe it or not, some of Quint's characteristics are actually based on a real fisherman. And he just did very good. The other thing you have to remember is this is a PG movie, and yet this movie has so much blood in it at times. I'm actually surprised it still has the PG rating. And recently I watched it again, and remember they did a 7.1 DTS audio track for this film, with, believe it or not, mostly the original audio tracks. It isn't like what they did with that one DVD where they actually added some new effect sounds. So this is very much original. It feels and sounds great. It looks great. They restored the whole hell out of this film. Unfortunately, this is only the DVD and Blu-ray versions. Right now, this is Blu-ray playing on a PS, and there it goes. It's been paused for too long. You know, there's Universal sign, but it's the Blu-ray, and I still find the movie incredible. I would love to show more footage, but I know I probably can't, and I'm still gonna have to do some editing and work on it. But I have to say this: the movie is just amazing. It's worth watching. And I'm going to give Jaws a strong 8 out of 10. With a much, very much, I really do recommend you watch this film. I recommend you have fun with it. I recommend you enjoy it. You recommend it to your friends and see what it was like in the past. This movie is just that good. And I don't want to spoil the plot because the book is very different from the movie. But I do recommend you check out both. So, here's my first video for Shark Week, and it's great. I'm also hopefully going to check out Hungry Shark. I forget what exactly it is. It's an Ubisoft game. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So, there's that. I'll probably check that out later on. And there's some other stuff I want to do this week as well. So, like and subscribe. Have fun. And if you have your own thoughts on the movie, you want to do a quick little review, please do so in the comments. Give your own thoughts, what you felt. Because I can remember as a kid, sitting there with a pillow, watching this movie, and hearing the Jaws music and putting my head in the pillow because I was scared. But you know what? I still enjoyed it, and they did a damn good job. And, you know, it's a movie that I keep in my collection. And Universal, if you're listening, can I please have a 4K copy now? Please?